welcome to the beautiful grounds of Chevron Rosemont in Raniket. And today I want to talk a little bit about the use of definite and indefinite articles, or indeed no articles at all. And this is very difficult terrain. People slip up a lot because although we can have rules about using articles, there are exceptions, and that tends to be confusing. However, I'm here to try and simplify. So the best way I can do that is to look at 3 sentences. And here they are. The first one, let's order pizza. And the second one, let's order a pizza. And the third, let's order the pizza. Okay, now the first one, let's order pizza. Or a similar sentence, let's order some pizza. There's no articles involved in those sentences, and that's because the pizza is undetermined and it's not countable. How much pizza? What kind of pizza? We don't know. There's nothing definite about how much. There's nothing definite about the type. It's just a descriptive word for pizzas in general. So let's order pizza, no article. Let's order a pizza means you're going to order one pizza. It's countable, so it takes an article. Let's order the pizza. Now again, this is countable. It's not just any pizza, it's the one you've chosen, the one you can specify. So please, that's a very general way of using articles. Now, the exceptions, and we've mentioned one in an earlier video. He's in office, and we said that's a phrase that's really used to determine that someone has an important role in society or business. If you're the president, you hold the office of the presidency and you are in office. But if you're in your own place of work, then you're in your office or you're in the office. It takes an article. And here's some more examples. You don't have problem. You can have a problem. And people often use that phrase without that little article, a, and it doesn't sound right. Here's one where an article is used and it still doesn't sound right. It's in a bad shape. Please, not it's in a bad shape. Drop the article here. It's in bad shape. Other things on our articles is to say, she's in transport. Firstly, this word transport isn't very useful. Transport is a collective, kind of a general noun that describes lots of ways of travelling. And it's better to say she's on a bus. She could be in a bus, but she's on a bus, or she's on a train, or she's on a flight. And by the way, you don't get down from a car, you get out of a car, or you get out of the car. I suppose you could get down from the bus, but again, get out of the bus, get out of the train. It's cleaner, it's better, and it's crisper. And that's the international use of that. Now, a reading strategy. When you're reading a fairly complex passage, especially in assessment conditions, you need to read that passage twice, and if necessary, go over some key points for a third time. But the first reading is a skim reading, but it is reading for meaning. You have to extract information from it. And that first reading, which should be quick, is to give you kind of a bird's eye view of the whole passage. Before we talk a little bit about the details of it, skim reading, if you're not used to it, would normally take you about 4 minutes for an A4 page, and with a bit of practice that should come down to 3 or a little bit under. So it's time worth spent. And to tell you how and how to justify the strategy, let me tell you a little bit about discursive essays. In colleges, in senior standard academic examinations, in English and probably in other languages, you would be asked to write a discursive essay. And the discursive essay sets out arguments or opinions for and against a topic. So, you could be asked to write a discursive essay on the motor car in present-day society, or on women's rights, or children's rights, or so on. One standard way of doing this is to tell students to state the argument in the first paragraph. And in following paragraphs, succeeding paragraphs, you argue the points for and against. And in the final paragraph, you sum up and give a judgment or an opinion or an informed, balanced view. And all that makes the first and the last paragraphs very important, because the first paragraph sets out the main issue. The last paragraph sums up the arguments. So applying this to reading for meaning, for the first skim reading, I would suggest the following strategy. Firstly, if you have headings and subheadings, you're winning. Please take notice of those headings and subheadings, and if there are diagrams or tables or other forms of data, the headings attached to those diagrams. Read those first. Then read all of the first paragraph. That is setting out the main context, the main purpose of the text. Then look at the first sentence in each following paragraph, and then quickly read the final one. And the final one will give you a resume of what's gone before. So, in the first place, the headings, the subheadings, the data headings. Then all the first paragraph, followed by the first sentences of each paragraph, followed by the final summary paragraph. You can do that in 3 to 4 minutes. It's time that will pay dividends, and it will give you some clear guidance then on the slower, more meticulous, more detailed reading of the passage that you will do next. And you will do that slower reading, pen in hand, underlining your key words. Too many people launch out into a slow reading from the beginning of that text, and they go right through it. And by the end, they're not very clued up of what the main points are. So please use this strategy. You may find that adapting this strategy to your needs or to your mindset is better, but those are the main guidelines I would set for you. By doing this first skim meaning for reading, you should set you up to be a good reader of the whole passage and to be able to write quite well on any assessment questions that require answering.
Go.
So there we are. We're pushing ahead quite well now. We've made quite a few videos, and I hope that each one of them has been of value to you. We've got more to come right now. This is Lawrence at IELTS Base Camp at Raniket saying thank you for being with us, and we'll see you again in our next video.